In today's episode, I want to talk about the second pillar of all relationships that you may come across. This is a critical relationship, the relationship with yourself. This is where a lot of people struggle to find a perfect balance, to get to a point where you live a healthy relationship between your reality, what you believe in, what you show in front of people. Now, I've been struggling throughout the day to find a way to explain this relationship, and it's almost midnight here, and I think I may have just found a proper method. But first, I want to sleep. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض.
I'm gonna show you.
Yours, very nice. I love it. Bye bye. Okay, so around this time I'll be having my morning walk, but you guys see how heavily it is raining outside here. So let's go back home and talk about what we're... Well, I actually ended up taking a short walk with my wife, and it was a stress relief and definitely needed. Now, maybe you're asking yourself why I'm including some personal fluff in this video, and there is a reason for it which I'll discuss in the end. But now let's actually go back home for real. Bismillah. All right, so let's take a look here at this diagram, which is a representation of the health of your relationship, or the growth, if you want to call it, over time. And now, there is a critical stage here where a lot of people get stuck in and they don't know how to get out of. Now, we're going to talk about all of this in detail, but first of all, the majority of us actually start as, ignorant people where we don't know that we don't know. Now, if you keep this going for a long period of time and you start, believing that you actually have some abilities where you don't have the abilities, well, then you start developing something that's called arrogant. Now, you believe that you can do things where you actually don't. And this is where you might get some hints from people that you might need to reconsider, you might need to reevaluate, do things better or in a different way. But you think that these guys are just, haters, or they're envious or jealous of you. But the hints might come from different places, from different from different sources, especially if you know that these guys are good. They're known in the society, And so you might need to reconsider, and this is where you might need to build awareness. And how do we build awareness? Well, we need to look at the storage of our past experiences. Well, you might be asking, how do I actually look into the storage of my past experiences, and how do I evaluate? Well, for that, let me actually give you a demonstration. Let's go somewhere else. Okay, so this is a storage room here, a typical storage room where many of you guys have something similar where, some sections are very well organized, and when I look at them, I feel good. Some sections are not as organized, and I don't even want to look at them. I don't want to go find something in there because, Now, there are three groups of people that when they come here to categorize this storage room, they'll be approaching it in a different manner. Some people will only look at the bad stuff and they'll be saying, oh, everything here is just bad and unorganized. Now, another group of people will only look at the good, section and be saying, oh, wow, this is actually a very well organized storage room. But the wise person, obviously, would be looking at everything, right? Full. Can you see it? The full storage, and they'll be making a wise judgment that some sections are organized, some are not. And if I'm trying to look for something, I better look at every section and not just the good or the bad. Now, let's go back to the illustration and see how we can relate all of this to how we can build full awareness, because I think you already know what I'm talking about here. So you don't want to be looking at only the good experiences, because this is not a full representation of what's going on, of all of your past experiences. And this way you can easily neglect your weak points. You're not looking at the bad experiences to reconsider. Everything is just looking good, and now you're filling your ego. This will take you to a place, to a dangerous place, where you're forgetting that you need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that you did everything on your own. You don't want to be there. And therefore, you want to include the bad experiences too, because you want to keep yourself in check. You want to understand your weakness point, learn from your past mistakes, build discipline, repress your ego, because you want to humble yourself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and understand that you need Him in all these situations, good or bad. And so, actually, you don't want to exaggerate this too much to the extent that it becomes self-contempt. And you don't want to exaggerate this as well to turn into arrogance again. So there is balance between the two, good and bad. Now, if you remember in the beginning of this demonstration, I said that so many people get stuck in a critical stage. This is the critical stage I was referring to, self-contempt. This is the stage where all of these points here, keeping yourself in check, humbling yourself, being disciplined, can easily turn into fear and hesitation. You have to be aware of this critical stage where we're trying to build awareness of our abilities, of what we have and what we can build on, and not get to a point where we don't believe in any ability that we might have. This is self-crushing. This is just, hesitation and fear. Like, what are you afraid of? There's a beautiful Arabic saying that refers to all these stages here, especially self-contempt and building awareness, where it says, fear, or developing fear before trying, is weakness. And so what are you afraid of, honestly? Again, we already said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us, and so we know that we can rely on Him and we can control the efforts instead of just looking for the results. And so I think that fear here and hesitation is always built because we're focusing on the outcome and the achievement. And that's why we need to understand that fear and hesitation is just part of the beginning of things. This is the hardest and most awkward stage. And when you think about it, every one of us has a first day at everything. Think about, I don't know, the first day you started driving. At that particular time, it was a matter of life and death, but now you're just, everything is subconscious. And why is that? Well, if it wasn't for that beginning, you wouldn't have reached this stage where, you don't even think about driving anymore. And so this is now where we consider the full picture and the entirety of the past storage. And so now we're building full awareness. And therefore, in this stage, everything here is represented in an accurate manner. And so how can we build on this right now to reach a point where we reach confidence? Well, confidence is believing in the ability while having it. So how do you get to that point? Well, now, first of all, you have to build with small little achievements over time. Now, I understand that all of us are looking for shiny things right away. Like, we want the big things right away. We want the big outcomes and the big results. Like, if I want to be successful, maybe I'll just start a company right away. No, that doesn't work like that. And so small achievements over time will give you the persistence and the consistency that you want to build that confidence. And the second thing is positive habits over time too. So every time you try to develop, you try to progress, you try to build, you need these two. And this is where you get to a point where you live a healthy relationship with yourself. What does that mean? All of your appearance, what you show in front of people, is in perfect synchronization with what you believe in, and there's no gap between the two. And so you look confident. You believe that you have confidence, and you believe in all of your abilities that you built, that you have right now. And when you get to this point, you already have a solid foundation. You understand that all of your past experiences have taken you here, but you also need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with you to achieve, to get to a place where it's even better for you. I hope that this makes sense, inshallah. I hope that we understand these stages. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know. And now, subhanAllah, I'm not gonna lie here. While I was prepping for the video, I was stuck in the self-contempt stage where I was just, in total fear of approaching something as big as this. And I was even contemplating on quitting on the entire video, honestly, and just maybe do something else the next week. But yeah, like there is also something that I want to show you here. I saw this right here, which is just a quote that my wife wrote, which says عندما تتعب تعلم أن تستريح لا أن تنسحب. So when you get exhausted or when you're tired, learn to take time off and relax instead of quitting completely. This is where my family comes in as a crucial part, and this is why I included them in the vlog, especially my wife, because I had to present all of this to her, and she gave me a lot of insight too, and so I'm grateful for her. And that's why I try to include the things that make me a better person in this vlog, and I hope that you guys appreciate it. Yeah.